Hi, welcome to Chrissy Creates. I am still participating in the hashtag ABC April 2026 that is hosted by Tony from Crafty by Tony and Margaret from Seven Plaza. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm really having a ton of fun. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to go and check what all the other creators are doing, although I do come across what they are doing on social media, and everything I've seen has just been amazing. Some people are just, everybody is very creative, and if you put all that creativity into one collab like this, it's just amazing what comes out there. And I have really been, it's been a journey. It's really been a fantastic crafty journey. Can you believe we're already at letter R? This month have flown by. So for letter R, I decided to play with some resin. So I'm going to be using some UV resin. I don't have a lot of fancy stuff. I just have the resin, and I have a small little UV light. Let me just show you. This is just a small little torch-like UV light that I purchased from my local China shop. I didn't want to buy expensive lights because I wasn't sure how much I was going to use it, and the more I play with the resin, the more I like it and the more I want to actually use it. So I might invest in something better, but for now this is fine. It just needs charging quite a lot. So anyway, but as I say, having a ton of fun, and today's video will literally just be you joining me, and we're going to be experimenting and just seeing what happens. I don't really have a plan. I'm just going to see where the creativity takes me. So please come and join me. Let's see what happens. It's time for an experiment. So I bought these about 3 days ago. It's just little paper binders that you use to, you add a whole bunch of letters on there, and then you add this little disc on top, and you open. It's like a huge brad almost. You just open it up and then it keeps everything together. But part of the reason why I actually want to keep some papers together, but I also thought I might be able to use it in mini albums or in junk journals, either to bind some papers together, or I can use it sort of as a brad. I will just take my side cutter and cut the legs down a little bit, but it makes for a bigger surface for a brad. So I was thinking, let's experiment with this and see what happens when we add some resin to it. So I'm just going to take some of the other round thing. Let's see what I have. I made these the other day. Shall we try that? Why not? Let's try that. I'm just thinking maybe I should just add some resin to the back, and why not do that? That's an idea. Let's see if this works. Guys, this is a complete experiment. So let's just see if it works. I'm going to add some resin, not a lot, just a little bit on the back. And I'm going to sort of use it as a glue to hold the paper binder, but also I am just covering the whole back side to make it more sturdy as well. Let's see if that works. This has a whole bunch of bubbles in it now, but I honestly don't mind. It's at the back, nobody's going to see it. I will pay more attention to the front, so this is just to keep the paper binder in place. But now I think some tweezers might be a good idea. I just want to make sure I don't put that paper binder upside down or something. I would like the legs to open sideways, so that is up, and then I'm just going to put this in the center. I'm just eyeballing the center. Okay, that looks good. So far so good. Let's see what happens. And my light, I don't think it's charged yet. I wonder if I get a longer cord for a charger. I actually think I have a charger like that. Maybe if I keep it plugged in it will be better. Okay, so I don't know if this will work. I hope so. I just got a cable, so I'm keeping that light plugged in. I hope it doesn't break the light. Luckily it wasn't a very expensive light, so it's not the end of the world. I'm just adding some more resin over top of this paper binder. I just want to seal it in to make sure that it can't go anywhere. So let's just add some resin to the top of this. I'm just trying to stick it into the foam. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just use one leg, because if there are two, the one pushes the other one skew. And I really want this to be sort of straight. So the resin doesn't go sideways. So I'm just pushing it right to the edges. I'm just using the nozzle at this stage, but the nozzle is a little bit thick. So I'm going to take one of these little, I have one of these cocktail skewers, and I'm just going to play the resin to the ends of my circle. The resin does tend to, once it's touched a new surface, it tends to level out. So it's just important to keep your whole project level. Oh boy, maybe something on a white cardstock might have been a better idea. As the cardstock is getting wet from the resin, it gets darker, and then you really can't really see the stamp. Okay. Just trying to play it around a little bit and get it sort of level. Don't really mind that much if it's not completely level. And then I'm just going to quickly take my heat tool and run it over to get rid of all the bubbles. So the moment you bring your heat tool over it, if you don't have a heat tool, you can also use a lighter. The heat tends to let the bubbles just rise to the surface, and then they pop, and then you don't have bubbles in your project. Okay, so I've got this little pendant. It's just a blank pendant that I got from a local craft store. You can see I did try, I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but I did try something, but that didn't work out. So I just took my pokey tool and I lifted it out, and luckily it came off easily because the bottom wasn't cured properly yet. So I just have this piece of old music paper that I've backed onto white cardstock, and I punched out I think it's a 1/2 inch, yes, a 1/2 inch circle. From that, I think this treble cleft is just a very interesting shape to have, so I would like to put that in there, but I think I would actually like to ink around the edges, but I don't think the stress oxide will work, because the moment it gets wet it's just going to disperse throughout the resin and you won't be able to see any of the inking. So I'm thinking archival ink. Let me just see, where is, and I think I'm going to use picked raspberry, because I am still working on my daughter's album, and I think I might want to use this pendant as a little dangle because she absolutely loves music. So I'm just rolling it around on the ink pad. Don't fall. I just want the very end to be inked, and I don't have a designated dauber for this. I don't really want to just create a dauber just to use once. Okay, so I think I'm just going to put this aside and leave it to dry for a little bit. Maybe I can just poke it on there. I'm not going to do anything with it right now. I'm just going to put it in this semi-wet resin. Maybe it would be a good idea to just add some resin. I'm just going to add a drop of resin to the bottom, and then just I'm spreading it around almost like glue. I'm just going to sort of glue down this circle, and then I will, sorry, I was just thinking, should I maybe have put some splatters on there, but I think that might be too much. Okay, so I'm just gonna, let me just turn it upright. Don't want to, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but I don't want it too skew. And then I think I'll just quickly cure it. While there's not a lot of resin on there. Okay, so that is stuck on there. I'm going to first add a little layer, very thin layer of resin, and then I'm just adding this little fussy cut. So it will be, but I think that might be too big. Maybe I should just add a little bit to the side. But first I want it to be just have a little bit of space between the the treble cleft and the fussy cut. It adds interest, so there will be like a little space between the two, and then it just makes the flower pop a little bit, makes for something different. I don't even know if you'll be able to properly see it on the TV or on screen. Let's just see here. I'm just pushing the resin around a little bit. I want to make sure it does go into this little empty space on the sides. Unfortunately, I didn't have a circle that's exactly this size, so I could go 3/4 of an inch, but then it will push up on the sides. I don't really mind that little bit of silver. Just bringing in my heat tool again to get rid of all the bubbles. I'm just trying to see here. There are still some bubbles in there. Okay. And you could see I could still hold my hand there, so the heat tool didn't heat up that much for the bubbles to just surface. Alright, I'm quickly going to cure this before I... Shall I just lay the flour on top like that? I think maybe I must just cure it first. Okay, let's just add the flour. This is completely cured. So I'm going to just basically fill up the pendant with UV, and then I will add the flour on the same level as this, the edge of the pendant. And then I will add a little bit of resin to the top again to make like a little dome. No, 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 no. Do not float in there. Please. Please do not float in there. I think that is fine. Huge bubble. And it's floating. I don't mind if the edges of the petals go in. That's completely fine. I'm just thinking maybe I must first cure it and then add some more resin. I hope you can see what is going on here. I'll bring it closer. So I do have this little flower halfway in, halfway out. I'm not going to keep this piece. I'm just going to take an emery board and take the edge off, so my pendant will be completely round, and then I'm adding another little layer of resin over top to seal everything in. So I'm just taking, it's a normal emery board that I use for crafting. Oh boy, and this got some resin on it. Oh, at the back. Oh my goodness. So this is going to take some sanding. I sanded everything down nicely. I'm just going to fill up that. I don't even know if you can properly see it, but the resin's only running up to there. Am I on screen? this part is still just plain paper, so I'm just going to fill everything up and make sure that everything is level. Just adding a little drop over there, and then just all over again. It will create like a little dome. Because this is a bit of a bigger dollop, I am just bringing in the heat tool just in case there are some bubbles that I don't see. I'm very careful not to blow on it too hard, because then the resin will run everywhere, and I don't want that at this stage. I'm sincerely hoping that there are not any bubbles in there. Just want to try and see. The light is just reflecting in such a way that I can't properly see what's going on. That's why I'm playing around with it. Oh no! And of course, I stuck my tweezers in there. I'll just take an alcohol wipe quickly for them. I think that looks good. So I'm quickly going to cure it, and then I will show you. And I cured it. I don't know if you can see the slight dome it forms on top. I hope you can see that. And I just added a little jump ring. So now obviously you have a lot of possibilities. You can add some beads to it, you can make it a long dangle, you can make it a short dangle that goes through a tab, or you can add a nice long dangle to the spine. The choice is yours. So I'm just going to put this with my other little embellishments. I already have a few charms waiting to go into the album. So there's just another one. I have this piece of lace that I bought specifically for my daughter's, to use for my daughter's album, and I was just thinking these would make lovely little dangles on the sides of some of the pages if I put it on a little tab. I don't know if the resin will take on it. I'm just thinking I do have... Will that fit? That will fit. Oh, let's see what that will look like. Okay, so my original experiment just took another turn. That is what makes crafting fun, and today is just a fun craft session. I hope you're having fun. I'm having a blast. I'm really having a ton of fun. This one I'm just going to keep clear. I want it to sort of look not like a specimen slide, but because the lace is nice from both sides, I think it will be nice if it can just dangle on a little chain or something, or maybe just a string, and it can twist and turn however it wants. So I'm going to just add a little layer of resin to the bottom, and because I want to make sure it can go both ways, I will just bring in the heat tool every single time and make sure there are no bubbles. Just trying to see everywhere. And I'm trying to make sure that the resin is covering the whole. These are rather shallow molds, so you don't have a ton of working space. It's not like this other one that I'm busy doing with the postage stamp. This one, these are quite a bit deeper. It's still not cured, so it's still just lying there chilling out. But this one is rather shallow, so I don't want to add too much resin. I'm just trying to eyeball where is halfway. And I am trying to make sure that there is some resin everywhere. It does look like it. Oh, and I have a nice little fat bubble in there. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe this is a good place to demonstrate. Over there is a little bubble. So I'm going to bring in my heat tool, and then you'll see the bubble just pops to the surface. There we go. See? Gone. And of course there are some glitter. There are some bits and pieces of glitter in here. I don't even know where that came from. I think it was in another project that I used some glitter in the resin. And guess who didn't clean the mold properly? Okay, I'm going to quickly cure this, and then I will add the little flower, and I'll fill it up with some resin again. Okay, this does feel hard. I'm going to just add my little flower, and then I'm going to fill up the whole thing with resin. Should I maybe first put some resin? I'm very quiet, I know. I'm just concentrating very hard. I don't want to make a mistake, but I do like what I'm seeing. So I can just see some of the lace popping up there, and I don't want anything to be popping out. And of course there is air trapped inside the fabric of the lace, which might be part of the reason why it's rising to the surface. So I'm just poking around on all the little bits and pieces of the fabric to try and encourage the bubbles to rise out to the surface. I think I'm going to just hold on to it like this and then cure it. Once it's down, it'll stay down, and I can just fill up this little hole that the bamboo skewer is, or the cocktail skewer is busy creating over there. So I'm going to come in with my heat tool, and then I'm going to cure it. I'll come in with the heat tool first for the bubbles, and then I'm going to cure it and just see if I can fill up that. I'm hoping I will be able to fill up that little hole. Okay, this did create like a little bump over there where the skewer was in, and just lift it up a little bit. But it's okay, it's not completely cured around that little edge, so I'm just working it. That is why I'm wearing gloves, so I can stick my fingers in here without any repercussions. I'm just trying to urge that little bump down a little bit. Okay, so everything is hardened. I'm just going to take out our little charm. You can see all of this bits and pieces. I'm just going to take, oh, it's still wet on the bottom. That always tends to happen. I think maybe I must just cure this first before I do anything else, otherwise I'm going to make a huge mess. Alright, it's cured. I'm still going to add a little layer on top because I don't think you'll be able to see it on screen, but it's not completely smooth. But first I want to get rid of this, so I'm just taking my emery board again and I'm just going to sand it down a little bit. Okay, that's sanded down quite nicely. Now the reason why I took it out of the mold first is the resin seems to not run over the sides too much when it's out. So I'm hoping that when I'm trying to create that little dome, when it's out of the mold, it won't just run all over the place. It will actually just stop at the edges. So let's see if that works. That's what's supposed to happen in theory. I'm just taking an alcohol wipe and I'm just quickly wiping down my whole charm to get rid of all the emery board dust, because I really don't want that trapped in there. Okay, and that's the beauty with resin. I'm hoping that all these little bumps and bruises that are on the back side at this stage, where I had that little bamboo cocktail skewer in, I'm hoping that I'll be able to smooth all of that out with the resin once I add that little layer. Let's just see what happens. But as I said, this is an experiment session, so we're experimenting. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's running out to the sides nicely, which is what I wanted. Now I just wanted to not run too much. Okay, stop poking, Chrissy, stop poking. I'm just trying to see if it is right to the edge everywhere. And it doesn't have any dents in it. Oh, I think that looks good. You know what? I think I'll take a lighter rather than the heat gun. I'm afraid the heat gun is going to let the resin run around and I don't want that. There we go. Okay, let's do this. I think this looks quite good. It formed a nice dome. I don't know if you can really pick up on that. So now I'm just going to do the exact same thing on this side and then also cure it, and then we'll have a little charm. Oh, I did see on the internet they say you can take a Sharpie. I hope the internet is telling the truth, because we all know it doesn't always. Apparently you can take a Sharpie and just go around the edges like that. So I do have the silver Sharpie. I will see if that works when I'm done. I'll first just test this little bit. Yes, it looks like it does work. Okay, awesome. Maybe I should get some other colors as well. Okay, I'm quickly going to finish that side. And there we have our finished charm. I think that just looks so cute. I really love this. Of course, this means I will be playing with a lot more lace. I think it really looks cool. It looks like almost like translucent, kind of, almost the feeling of a specimen slide kind of something. I don't know, I just think it looks cool. Okay, I decided that I would love to play a little bit with some charms and making them the way that Tony taught us. Unfortunately, Tony has these nice big jump rings and I don't know where to find those. So I'm still looking for those. But meanwhile, I found these key rings. They're flat, so they are not round. I don't know if you can pick it up on the video. They have a flat surface. So I thought to just use them. Now, of course, I took my gloves off, and I think I should put them back on, because I do not want resin everywhere. I'm not sure which kit these came from. I can't remember. They were in my scrap box somewhere. But I'm just looking for some interesting images on them that I can sort of isolate. I like that pink because the kit I'm working with, it does have a lot of pink in it. So I'm thinking just add some pink to it. The idea that I have for these are to just pop them onto some of these paper binders when they are finished, and then have some charms on the paper binders. Otherwise I'll just use them wherever for embellishments. So this wasn't my idea at all. This comes from one of Tony's Mass Make March videos. I think everybody is familiar with her channel, so I'm not even going to link that. If you don't know where to find it, let me know, and then I will make sure to pop a link in the comments. But I think everybody knows where to find Tony. So let's just see how this goes. I'm just going to do those ones. I hope I still have enough resin in the bottle. Wait, gloves first. While I am busy with these and I have to cure them, I played around with some air dry clay as well. And I just want to see, since this is an experiment session, I want to see what happens to the air dry clay when I add resin on top. I have no clue what's going to happen. I hope it won't bubble up too much, because air dry clay, I don't know how dense it is and how much air will be trapped inside. That's going to be interesting. And believe it or not, I'm still curing. Every now and again I'm still curing this. It's still, I don't think you'll see it on the camera, but when I press down on it, I can see that it's still soft on the inside. It's still not cured properly. So that's still happening on the side. Oh no, not the whole thing. Okay, let's just start at the top. Okay, there we have, and I can just see some resin running on the out from underneath the key rings on the thinner side. So I'm not sure if this will work, but I'm going to cure it, and then once it's completely dry I will just take my emery board and sand around it. So I finished the one. I think it looks so cute. I just sanded around the edges to remove the paper and the extra resin, the excess resin that ran underneath this uneven part of the, I don't know if you can see that on screen, underneath the keychain ring. There's a bit of an uneven bit over there where you're supposed to slide in the keys, and that just the resin just ran underneath that and it ran out. But you can see over here that the emery board took it off nicely, so you don't really see that. So I just wanted to show you my idea of putting it on the back. It just about fits. You can see that's a rather tight fit. So I'm just going to put some resin on the back over there, and I had to take out my new bottle. I did not finish a whole bottle of resin. That bottle was already used. I was going to say, why is this not coming out? Okay. This resin is much thicker than the other resin I used. I don't know if you can hear the wind blowing, but we have this horrible wind blowing today. Okay, I'm just pressing the paper binder into the resin very nicely. Let's close the bottle up, and then let's just see. It's stuck very well. I actually love how that turned out. I think it will make for a nice little addition to any album. I love the look of that, and I love that I can use it like almost like a brad. Alright, I'm going to test it out on the air dry clay. These ones are still not completely cured. My light started getting a little bit weak, and these I must still sand down. This one I'm just going to, together with those ones, I'm just going to cover it with some resin. I would like to actually also make one of these almost like this one, but I want to try it with the white cardstock background. I want to see if maybe it turns out better. So let's just see. Boy, this resin is really sticky. It's not nearly as runny as the others I had. Don't know if maybe it's been standing on a shelf in a shop for a long time or something. it's really not runny at all. Okay, I just decided to test it out on some air drying clay, but I don't know if you can see it, but of course there's a piece of paper in between. It's so weird, it's really just like a gel. I don't even know how it will dry and if it will dry. I have given up on this other resin. I don't know if anybody knows this brand. Am I doing something wrong? It is Atlas. It looks like Atlas UV resin. I'm thinking I'm doing something wrong, or it's been exposed to, I don't know. It can't be exposed to sunlight because it's in a dark bottle and it's stored in a cupboard. So I have no clue, but I do not like that resin. It is way too sticky and you can't cure it with UV at all. Well, not at all. It does harden, but it stays sticky. And in the end I gave up on this one. I don't know, you can't really pick it up on the camera, but it's not a nice shiny completely clear surface, and it did get some bubbles in it that I couldn't get out. So yes, it's just a mess. So this one is a complete fail. However, this is a previous one that I did with the stamp, and I think that is super cute. So this is actually on my car keychain. That is why it doesn't have a big, I don't like big jump rings on my keychains. I like to keep it compact as possible. So that is just what I did with the stamp. And then I also realized part of what I don't like about this one is I completely forgot that with this one I just painted the back of the stamp with some white acrylic paint. You can use gesso or whatever. It just prevents the stamp, because the moment the resin goes on, paper sort of goes translucent, like with this one, and you can't see the image that well anymore. So when you put the white paint at the back, it just sort of keeps the image from disappearing. So I will redo this one. I'm definitely, luckily I still have a few of these stamps, so I can redo it, but first I want to get some other resin because I'm really not happy with this one. But anyway, that is what the postage stamp should look like when you've made when you've covered it with a little bit of resin. And I used a different mold for this one as well. It's because it's a smaller stamp, but I think that's just something cute and a nice gift to give to somebody. Of course, you can just add resin to the stamp itself, maybe glue the stamp on a piece of cardstock and basically do something like I did with this rubber stamp that I stamped on white. This one you can also see, it's also that other resin. It's just, I don't know, it's cloudy. I just don't like it. Anyway, what I wanted to say is if you can do this stamp like that and just put it on a paper binder, and then you can use it in your albums if you don't want to make a keychain from it. But I think that resin covered stamp is something very cute. So let's continue with the dangles first. So that is a dangle, and then I made this dangle. This I really love. It looks super cute. I just think it's cute. Of course you can use any lace. So I started out with this. Yes, the flower that I just covered with resin didn't work very well, but I don't know if it's the resin or if it's just that you can't, because my idea was to just put resin along all the petals and actually end up with a little resin flower. But yes, that sticky resin definitely didn't work. I will try it again when I have proper resin. Unfortunately, I live rather far from the shops, so it's not a case of quickly pop around and just go buy some other resin. So unfortunately, it is what it is. Okay, so I think this is also very cute. I haven't put a jump ring in it yet. I will still do this. This one I'm very pleased with. I think this is just super, super cute. It is in the theme of the album, so I will definitely use it in the album. I must actually find my other dangles that I made for the album. I can add that. I didn't do it now, but I can add it to the list. This is also just, it's a little stamp from... Sorry, the dog was barking. As I was saying, this is just an Elizabeth Craft Designs stamp that I cut out with a 3/4 inch circle. No, it was a 1/2 inch circle. And then I just added it to that little charm blank and covered it with resin. I think that's also rather nice. I had these out as well. These little tags, and I was going to put a skewer or something through the hole to keep it open, and then I was going to just add some resin add some resin over top and use that as dangles as well. Unfortunately, I'm not even going to try it with that other resin, so that's also something on a list for someday to do. And then I was playing with some air drying clay. I saw an amazing video, I can't remember by who, somewhere over the weekend, and she was playing with air drying clay and using her regular red rubber stamps. Now I have tried it with the those clear rubber stamps as well. It's as if they don't stamp. It works, it does work, but it doesn't work as well as the red rubber stamps. I think the red rubber is just a little bit more sturdy. So I just punched this, and then I used a little cookie cutter to cut out the circle, and I covered that with resin as well. I think it will just maybe strengthen the air drying clay, so I'll use this as a dangle as well. And then this was just those other little charms I made using Tony's method. So that's how they ended up. Here I have some more of them. These ones unfortunately also got some bubbles in. The air came in because if you remember, I used key rings for these. So the air just sort of came in where the I don't know if you can see this. Over here where the keychain meets up, you have that little gap, and that is where some of the resin ran out there. I don't know if you remember when I was making it, and some air got trapped in there. So I have this little air bubble, but I don't really mind it on the charm so much. I think it just adds some character. I'm just trying to get it so that it doesn't glare too much, but you can still see, so that's rather difficult. There's a little trapped air bubble over there and over there, but I don't really mind it. I think it still looks cute. And there's another one I did with that method. This one I also made with craft colored cardstock. I don't know if maybe it would have worked better if I did the paint trick. It's the first time I've tried this with the craft colored cardstock, and I think maybe if I just painted it with some white gesso or some white acrylic paint, maybe you would be able to still see the stamped image better. I'm not sure. I will give that a go sometime. But as I said, this is an experiment session. I'm trying things that I haven't done before. So I did show you this one. I used that other reason for it, that terrible reason. I think it would have looked better with the other resin, and also if I did paint with acrylic. I'm definitely going to remember that whenever I want to see an image, when I use resin, especially if I used a water base to stamp with or something like that, a pigment stamp, I will just add some either white gesso or white acrylic paint. And then these ones I just wanted to point out, in the end I did back everything with the paper binders. That's what they look like. I did show you in the beginning. So the reason I did that, over here I did this one I did using a normal brad. You can see over there. The problem with that is it gets very bulky. I'm just going to show it to you. How can I show it to you that you can actually see it? I'm going to show you like this. If you compare the two, the one with the paper binder will lie much flatter. Unfortunately, these legs are rather broad and rather big. It is what it is, unfortunately. Sometimes you have to pay a certain price to get an effect that you would like. So if you don't mind it popping out, by all means use the brad. I am afraid that sometimes I would like it to be more flush to the paper, and sometimes I wouldn't like it to be so bulky. So I just decided I don't really mind the long legs. I do have a little side cutter. I will just cut them down, and then that's not a problem. So I did use the paper binders for all the rest. I mean, if you compare the two heads, you can clearly see there that the paper binder definitely is much flatter. And I think that's it. I talked a lot. I showed you everything. I had a lot of fun though, except when I had to work with this horrible resin, and I don't know if my experiments failed or if it was the resin's fault. So I'm blaming the resin. Anyway, I really had a ton of fun. I hope you had fun with me, and I hope you liked seeing my experiments, seeing a little bit of how my brain works and things I think up. Please pop a comment below. Tell me if you like this, if you would like some more sort of experimental videos, and if you would like to just experiment with me and find new interesting ways to just add some stuff to our albums. I wanted to quickly show you these ones I made previously after watching Tony's video. So because I don't have those big jump rings, the only thing I had available was this like memory spring. I don't even know exactly what you call it. You get it for at bead shops most of the time for jewelry crafting or something. I got it in a beading kit when I just started. I thought I was going to make jewelry, and I didn't in the end. But this was part of the kit, and I never ever used it. And I thought, well, this is sort of the perfect size circle. So I just took my little side cutters, and then I would find where the one ring ended. I just wanted to show you this in case somebody has some of this lying around and you don't know what to do with it. So I just found the full circle, and then I cut down this bottom piece, and then I had a circle that sort of stayed closed. And I just used that as sort of as a jump ring, just as a frame to keep my charms in. And of course the reason I usually use, the normal UV resin I usually use, it creates a very nice little dome. So I just made a few. This is just a sentiment I cut up from the kit. So this will fit the album I'm working on currently. This was just die cut from Tim Holtz. And this is also some of the embellishments of the kit that I just backed with music paper. So I think that's just interesting little charms that I can add to the album. One of them I actually took my son's, I borrowed his Dremel, and I just drilled a tiny little hole through you can do that actually, drill through resin. So I drilled a tiny little hole through the resin, and I just added it to the album. Okay, now really this is it. This is my story for today. I hope you had fun with me, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.